Johnny Berry, the founder and CEO of Always Sober Clothing. Welcome into Forever Forward, man.
What's up? I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Of course, brother. It's my pleasure. I think you embody exactly what Forever Forward is all about. People that might be going against the grain, just trying to make themselves better and push a message of positivity. But it's funny, I was on your Instagram the other day, and one of your more recent captions is 25 years old, 25 years sober. It took a lot to make it here. I had a lot of options to cave in, but I didn't. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so growing up, I was raised, thank goodness by two great parents. And I always knew that, drinking underage wasn't like the right thing to do, so to speak. So I definitely was like respectful to my parents in that sense. But then, like once like ninth grade came and I was starting to go to like parties where there was alcohol, I just really had no desire, you know what I mean? And like I said, like at that moment, still being young, I'm like, yeah, like this, I should probably do this, And then once, like 10th grade, 11th grade came, that's when everybody was really starting to, drink and smoke and everything. And, a lot of people, they wanted me to drink, they wanted me to smoke and they tried to get me to do it, but I just never, I never did. And, since I have ADHD, I'm basically crazy in a sense,
Okay.
So like I'm very like energetic and very like compulsive and things like that. So it's kind of crazy how I actually never even tried it, But on the same hand, I also like said to myself, I'm not going to do this. And then I almost was like addicted to saying I'm not going to drink. So like it kept me from actually not doing it by me just keep on putting in my head like, yeah, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. And then once 12th grade came, I was really around it a lot, but I was always like the life of the party. I always had fun and I never needed it. I never needed alcohol to be like outgoing. So I'm like, if I'm already having a good time with everybody around me, why do I need to do it? And then wake up the next morning, feel terrible, things like that, and that's that. And now we're here.
First of all, I think it's awesome. Although, if I put myself in the shoes of, 15, 16-year-old you,
Yeah.
what was the reaction when you started telling people, like, I'm not doing this? Were some people trying to get you to do it, or were they all cool? Like,
No,
it's all good.
No, definitely. I mean, everybody wants to do it to fit in, and I always wanted to be my own self. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing because I had the confidence, But people were definitely like, they thought it was almost like a joke. Like they were like, no, like wait another little bit, like you're definitely gonna drink, And then I was like, no, I'm telling you. And then it just like kept on going. It's like not even after prom, and it's like prom came, nothing. And it's like I had 21, nothing. Now I'm 25, still never did it, I will tell you this though, like a lot of my like close friends though, like they definitely like respected it though. Even like to this day, like they respect me, or even if, some people would come to my house, like they wouldn't drink. Just because
out of respect for you not drinking.
Yeah, just like and like for my parents and everything. It's just like, so that was always pretty cool,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I don't judge anybody,
I saw on your website, I think there was a news article linked, said you describe yourself as the life of the party, right? That might be hard for some people to understand that you could still be the life of the party and not be like on drugs or on alcohol. Like, what would you say to those people that think you need alcohol to have fun?
Yeah, the scary part is some people really do feel like they need it to even just talk to somebody, And I don't have all the answers, I'll be honest with you. All I know is this is how I'm living my life, and I want to show people of what I do, like out and about, to be like, hey, maybe there is a possibility that, you can have fun without it. But I would just say that you gotta like try to find ways to believe in yourself and be confident, because that's what really will make you make the right choices. Because if you don't have that, then you're gonna just fall into the crowd.
Of course, man. And I feel like nowadays the world, wants people to be anything but themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's easier now than ever to conform. So like, this act of, I don't know, autonomy, making your own choices is more powerful today than ever. I noticed you actually touched on something. So you said you have ADD.
Yeah.
And you also, I think, mentioned, you struggle with some other things.
Yeah.
Why is it especially important for you to not give into this stuff, given those conditions?
Well, so basically in one of the articles that was written about me, they like noted something from like the scientific article. Basically, if you take 10 alcoholics, about like 6 or 7 of them have ADHD. People with ADHD are more likely to get addicted to drugs and alcohol. And also, I will, be out and about. And I'll end up talking to somebody, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, my son has ADHD, but he's, in recovery." And I always say this 'cause I don't know the right word. It isn't guilt, but it's almost like, how did I do this? Because almost
Yeah.
like, there's no way that realistically I'm 25 years old here and never tried it because of like my very impulsive actions and everything, within in other parts of life. But that's why it's also really important for me to not ever cave in, because it's like, if I can't do it, then it's like, well, maybe no one can.
Bro, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I have such an addictive personality
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And it extends to all areas of my life. Like, even with drinking, like, I find it really hard to have just one beer. Like, that's just the truth. Like, if I'm gonna have one, I feel like I need to have 10.
Yeah.
So I get it. But just, for the people listening, you've never had a sip of alcohol ever.
Never. Not even
And you will never have one.
correct.
As time has gone on, has it gotten harder to abstain, or no, it actually gets easier?
Well, it's funny. I would say a little bit of both. So I started my brand, right? Like 4 years ago. So before that, I was saying, oh, I'm never going to drink. But that was before I even came up with the name Always Sober. But then once I came up with Always Sober, then it was really like, oh yeah, it's never, ever, ever going to do it. But like, I will tell you this though, like, am I going to sit here and say, oh, I've never wanted to try it or blah, blah, blah? Like, no. You know what I mean? I have never actually like had the thought of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? It's always been like, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I'm gonna live my whole life not knowing what it feels.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? My whole entire life,
Yeah.
never know what it feels like to be drunk. But I think that's good for me, because I think if I were to drink, I would be either in jail or dead for sure within like 3 days.
Just given your personality.
Yeah, 100%. So I actually said it in the Barstool Sports podcast, but I'll say it here again. So long story short, so like, I'm lactose intolerant, right? So if there's a night where I'll have something with milk, I'm like, well, my stomach's gonna be messed up. And next thing you know, I'm eating like a tub of ice cream, brownies, candy, like, cause I'm like, I'm already gonna be screwed. So I'm like, let's just get more screwed.
Just go hard. Yeah, I feel you.
Sure.
So you're saying, like, if you did the alcohol thing, your mindset would be, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just go crazy.
Go ham, yeah.
Well, look, you mentioned your brand Always Sober.
Yeah.
What was the moment where that came to you? Because first of all, the clothes are sick.
Appreciate it.
And second of all, I love the message behind it. When did that idea first come into your head?
So, it's funny. I really don't even remember the exact moment, I would say, but like, I kind of do, like maybe the week or whatever, but it was about, I'd say like 2019. Could have honestly been even earlier, if I'm going to be honest with you. I just remember 2019 in October. That's when I bought alwayssober.com. It was $1,000 actually, because somebody else owned it, but they weren't using it. So I had like 1,200 in my bank, and I just like basically spent almost all of it, because I was like, there's never
No way.
I'm just going to go for it. But basically what happened was, one day, well, for some background, I have always been like a business person, like making t-shirts and selling sunglasses and things like that. So I used to have this shirt. It was like, rule number 1, don't be number 2. And it would be like #Barry motivational.
Barry, like your last name,
Yeah,
Barry.
yeah.
Okay.
So I would do like, like fitness, motivational stuff, or whatever. But then one day I'm like, I'm always sober, because I don't drink. I'm like, I want to wear a hoodie. I was like, that would catch people's eyes, So I looked it up. I was going to try to buy a hoodie and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, So like, I did research and stuff. I'm like, man, I was like, no one's done this? Like, I thought it was just like a good saying or something. I'm like, I'm like, all right. From that moment, it took like a couple months before I even bought the name, because the name alwayssober.com on GoDaddy.com was like, I wish I would have footage of this, but don't ask me how, but it was like $4,000. And I'm like, 4,000. I was like, I don't even have close to that. And then like, I just kept on checking every couple weeks, and all of a sudden it went to $995. So I'm like, what I did was I took down all my Instagram posts cause I had like a couple shirts. I wasn't selling. I just had a couple shirts I wore. And I took it down because I didn't want this person to see when I bought it that he was going to like hold it and then try to sell for like 10 grand or something. So I put in like you could put in a bid for like $650. It was the cheapest one. So I did it and they said no. So I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm like, there's never going to be the right time. I did it. I remember I was in my room. I went to my parents' room. I was like, I just did it. Like, I remember like perfectly. I'm like, $995 and, $1,000. Like that's a pretty I mean, you got to be really,
That's a lot of money, man.
man,
You got to be committed.
especially when I didn't have, you know what I mean? That was just for the name. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, so I did that. Then, once I bought the name, then I tried to, do some research, like, all right, I got to get my DBA and tax ID and all this stuff. And then just went on and on.
No way, man. And in the early days of your business, right? I mean, look, you kind of bought the domain and then sent it from there. What was it like trying to get this thing off the ground? Like for the first few months, 3, 6 months, what was that like?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I feel like I'm still trying to get off the ground. That's the truth.
All right.
I will
I appreciate that honesty.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I mean, I'm in 10 grand of debt right now. I got no money.
So you're still trying to make this thing more real.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I literally have like $20 to my name right now. Straight up. But anyway, so I'll backtrack and then we'll go to current. But, so no, I mean, what happened was it was actually during COVID because that's when I turned 21. Cause I wanted to wait to really launch it so I'm 21 because you're really not supposed to drink anyway, So,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah. So I remember I bought these, it was blue and pink t-shirts, like not even the best quality, just like regular, t-shirts. And what made me start selling was TikTok. During COVID, I went viral a couple times on TikTok, like 2 million views, 400,000. I went like viral a few times, like doing like videos like me dumping out beer, smashing beer, stuff like.
Oh, all right. I like that.
Yeah. So like I would get orders from all over the world, like all over the United States, world, and everything, all from TikTok. And, did that. That was good. And then there was a couple of years in the 4-year span that I've been doing it where I didn't really do much. Cause it was like I sold out of it, but then by that time it's like money situation and I couldn't buy more. And then I bought a whole bunch of hoodies and stuff. And then I was just sitting on them cause you know what I mean? So I'm like, I got all this product and then I would try to go to, like vendor stuff, like go set up like at festivals and everything. But mine's like a very specific niche to a degree. So those didn't really work out that well. So it was just the hustle and grind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like though one thing in your story that's so, cool is that you just don't stop. Like there might have been periods where it lulled, but you just kept going and you're still going now. And it's the same thing with the always, with your whole always sober brand for yourself. Like there were moments where it's hard, but you just keep going 1 foot at a time, bro.
No, for sure. No, I really appreciate that. No, definitely. I mean, that's been my thing. Like, I mean, even now, dude, like I've been in a vicious cycle of just like nothingness for like the past 2 years of just like, all right, this week I'm not going to eat this anymore. This week I'm going to drink this amount of water. Or this week I'm going to work. Like, it's like, all right, no, for real this time tomorrow. It's like, all right, I know I've said this to myself. Like, it's just boom, boom, boom. But that's the thing. Like, yeah, like I just never give up.
No, sooner or later it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in a massive way, I believe. Sure. I feel like it's even relatable for me trying to get this podcast off the ground. Like, not as many people are listening as I would like, but I'm only 2 months in. You're 4 years in. Like, you got to pay your dues, I feel like.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'll tell you this, like, I made more money this month than I did the whole year last year.
Yo, congratulations, man.
To be honest with you, it's not much. It's not a lot, though. It was about $2,000 in 30 days.
Are you primarily selling through your website, through TikTok? How are you, what channels are you in?
Just Shopify, my website right now, but I'm getting into the TikTok shop. I just like signed up. I'm almost finished with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once I think that, I mean, that could be changing my life. Like I get one video that pops up.
It could completely change your life.
I could sell 100 hoodies in a day. You know what I mean? So
speaking of changing lives, right? I mean, look, money aside, because you got to make money, right? Yeah. But this brand has a meaning behind it that's special. Do you have any stories to share where you actually interacted with somebody that, you either changed their life or this brand changed their life or this mission kind of changed what they were doing?
Yeah, for sure. And, before I even say that, I just want to say, yeah, I started this brand not even for the money, the only thing with me right now, I'm just transparent. The thing with the whole money situation is I got to get this back. I just put 8,000 on my credit card. So it's like, my LLC was at, over 1,000. My trademark was like $2,000. Like, so it's like someone's got to pay these bills to keep the brand alive, to keep the message going. You know what I mean? But aside the point. Anyway,
yes.
No, so I mean, there's definitely been a lot of moments where it's like, wow, that little kid was around alcohol and he didn't drink because of me. And I'm like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've had people message me and stuff, or like, for instance, there was this one time where I saw this guy at Home Depot and he looked at my shirt and he's like, hey, he's like, I like that shirt. We were talking. He's like, yeah, I'm 8 days sober. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, so we keep talking and, the crazy part about that is like, I don't know what's going to happen with that guy the next day, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that night when he went home, he wasn't going to use or drink because of the conversation we had. You know what I mean? So it's like, I
100%.
just like the clothes and the hats and everything. Like it's a bigger meaning because it brings people together, you know, when they see it.
What I like about it too is like the message of always sober is like so radically you, because to go with the grain is to not be sober.
Yeah, no,
But to say like, hey, I'm always sober, it's like, look, I am who I am. You can take me or leave me, but like this is me.
no, 100%.
Um,
Definitely.
no, I love that, bro. You know what it actually reminds me of? It reminds, you know what, like if this existed back at the time that I went through Dare
Yeah, that's
when I
what
was a kid.
everybody says that.
Oh, for real? Like I would actually have been like, oh, this is cool. Cause at the time, Dare like wasn't that cool, but this is like the cool version of
Well,
that.
what I'm trying to do is, you know, you have to remember also, I haven't experienced the other side. So like, if there's people
Yeah.
like, oh, how do I get sober? I'm like, look, it's like, I don't got that answer really. I'm just showing people, look, this is what I did to not start, you know, because if you don't start, you won't get addicted. But I also am with like empathy and I don't judge anybody. Like, I'm not like, yo, never drink, don't do this. I'm just like, look, don't do for the wrong reasons. And also just know if you have underlying issues already, you might want to, you know, figure those out before you try to dive into this because then you end up on the street, you know? So it's like,
Nah, for real.
it's, you got to be careful, you know? And like some people can handle, like some people can drink and it's cool and like it's fine. Like it's like, all right, like good for them. But then there's other people like that would just do it too much and then it ends up being bad. So,
I'm gonna say like two things on that. One, I think there are some people that can drink and be cool, like, and it starts that way, but then it kind of
yeah,
spirals out of
no,
hand.
100%.
Another thing that I've noticed too is like I've seen more and more people talking about the dangers of alcohol more than just like a social lubricant. Like, you know, it can actually be pretty bad for you. And there are some people out there that believe that, like, you know, for example, marijuana, although it's been legalized, you know, it was criminalized for a long time. They're like, if marijuana was criminalized, alcohol absolutely should be criminalized. I mean, there are some actual health effects with it.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%.
So look, Matt, you know, I know I've got some young entrepreneurs that are listening to this right now. You know, you are one. And what I love about your story is like you're still grinding this out, right? 10 years from now, you'll look back and be like, these were the days. But like right now, you're in this shit.
Yeah.
What's your advice, man, for anybody that's trying to get something off the ground?
Well, it's funny. I have this kind of talk with a whole bunch of people, like probably every couple of weeks. Like people message me and everything. I would say, you know, I will tell you this. I definitely haven't done everything right by any means, you know, especially with like the spending and stuff, because like I probably have done things the way wrong way. But I will tell you this, the bottom line is like, are you trying to make this your life or are you just trying to make this like a side thing? Cause like this, I'm trying to make this my life. So that's why I think I'm still here after 4 years because this, I know 110 people that made a, oh, let me do this fitness Instagram. Oh, let me make this hoodie. Oh, let me make, you know, this jewelry, whatever. And like, that's awesome. But 2, 3 months later, it's gone. And, you know, thanks to say, you know, but I think it's because I don't really know the answer, but maybe it's just a quick money thing. Maybe it's, you know, they just, I don't really know, but I mean, yeah, it's like I've been doing this for 4 years. It's like, even though now, like in the last month, with people reposting me and certain like influencers and everything, like I'm feeling like this is, we're doing good now. But still at the same time, it's like the fact that I'm doing pretty good, but I have 1,000 more ways to like miles to go is crazy too.
It's funny though, like you said, look, you got to kind of want this to be your life. That's
Yeah.
kind of the only way you can make these lofty goals real.
No,
It's like I either, you know, I either make this real or I die of old age.
yeah.
Like that's it.
No,
That's the only thing that's going to stop me.
you got to go for broke, basically. That's my thing. Like, you know, like I'll have people like, oh, I'm going to start this. I'm like, all right, first thing you do, go to GoDaddy.com, buy the domain, and go from there. And then a week later, I look at GoDaddy, type in the name, still didn't buy it. It's like at that point, I can't help you. If you can't buy a
It's,
if you can't buy a $20 name, then you don't really want it.
you know, it's like, first of all, the ironic thing is I actually bought the domain for my website a week ago. So you
Right.
caught me at an ironic time. But, you know, there's this difference between saying one day or day one. It's like day one is like, I'm going to buy the domain. And it's like, I don't know the first thing about clothing or hats. I'm just going to figure this out. For me, it was
Yeah,
like,
no,
I'm going to just buy a camera. I don't know how to use a damn camera. I'm going to get one and start talking to it.
no,
Right. So, like, that's, I think, a cool message.
yeah, no, you just gotta go for it. Like, there's never gonna be the right time. Like, even when I did buy my domain, actually, like, there was months where I was like putting it off. I'm like, all right, once I save up 3 grand, then I'm gonna buy it because I'll have like 2 grand. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, I'm gonna be here forever. I'm like, forget this. Like,
Forget it, man.
do it. I'm just like, you know what? This is never gonna be the right time. Just do it now, and that's it. And then go from there. Because once you buy it, then it's like, oh, I better do something with this now. You know?
Totally. And also, I think, like, like I used to try and start stuff all the time, right? Little Instagram pages, or, I tried to do a little clothing brand that I never even, made real because I thought it was too hard and I gave up. But it's like, once I started telling the people I really cared about, like, hey, I'm going to do this podcast, for example, like, then I felt like, oh, shoot, now I got to start. Now I got to do this. Because
Yeah.
I got people that are going to check me on it.
Well, it's actually funny what's been happening to me lately is which, honestly, like, it's coming from not a negative point, but I feel a little bit like kind of like a little weird from it, but also I have to just kind of change my mindset, like, and just be positive about it. But basically, like, now that my brand's kind of starting to really pick up and I'm getting a whole bunch of more followers and people like, tapping in and everything, I have these people now that have known me my whole life. And now they're just starting to follow me. Now they're just trying to like my stuff because everybody else sees them posting like, oh, now it's cool to support. Now it's, oh, maybe this is going to be something. And it's like these people knew about me. These people know about my brand for years. But it's like all of a sudden now it's like, oh, maybe it will happen. It's just funny.
It's like, everybody thinks you're crazy until it works.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're a genius. That's what they say.
No, 100%. But
Yeah, bro.
also, like, at the same time, like, what am I gonna push that away? No, like, if they support me, they support me. I can't really be mad at it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, dude. All right. So look, a couple last questions because I'm curious about this brand and I can't wait to see it grow. What's next for you guys? What's coming up for Always Sober?
Well, it's funny when you say guys because it's just me. But
All right. Yeah.
but no,
Cool.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's stalling or whatever, but I've been really trying to make like vlogs where it's like Always Sober shenanigans, where I'm actually out there doing my normal stuff, but gonna be recorded and actually not just telling people, oh, look, I don't drink, blah, 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 look at me. It's gonna be showing people like, oh, he's playing pickleball and he's whatever. Oh, he's doing this. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, he's at the tailgate and he's not bombed, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I think that's the real like pain point for people is like, oh, wait, look, he's actually doing it. Not just like, hey guys, I'm 25 years old, I never drank, go buy my stuff. Like, it's like that they don't really feel nothing. You know what I mean? So
100%.
that's definitely one of the things that I'm gonna definitely be. I mean, hopefully even this weekend I do something, but just a lot more like content videos, of me talking more, like, instead of just like product stuff. Cause like the product stuff is good.
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
but also like I want to spread the message more than necessarily just the clothes, like that's just only a little part of it.
You also seem like such a vivacious person. Like, have people always called you the life of the party?
Yeah, pretty much. Cause I've always been like entertaining. Like my main thing is also like, when I say I'm a comedian, I'm not doing stand up, but like I always make everybody laugh. So
Yeah.
it's also been kind of a little tricky because it's like, I'm this very crazy, entertaining, outgoing, funny person. And if you saw me, you'd think I'm drunk, but I'm also trying to promote this brand that's like a real message brand. So it's like everything about me, if you look at me, if you see me, it's like, it doesn't say Always Sober. I'm trying to make that like the reality though of like, oh wait, he actually is always sober.
Cause like maybe it's because we affiliate those feelings of like joy and being funny like with drinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Definitely.
And maybe we need to stop doing that. Cause like if I go to a bar or even if I see somebody out and they're just having a blast, like I probably assume they're drunk.
Right.
Well, the mission's powerful, man. And I can't thank you enough for coming on. You want to just quickly plug your socials where people can reach you at?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, website's alwayssober.com. Everything's Always Sober brand and everything's real Johnny Berry.
Well, thank you again. And,
Appreciate it, man.
I say this at the end of almost every episode, but look, you're a good ass dude. You embody this Forever Forward brand. And look, if the listeners want it, maybe sometime down the line when you're a, multi 7-figure CEO, we can do another episode.
Yeah, definitely. No, I got you for sure.